It's the enemy from within, all the scum that we have to deal with that hate our country. That's a bigger enemy than China and Russia.
When you hear Trump talk about the enemies within, you should take that seriously.
Do we need to tone the rhetoric down a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's totally required.
He's backing it up with lies and violent rhetoric, and I'm beginning to see these two realities clear. Should Trump win, it would be the perfect cocktail of ignorance, insanity, and revenge.
The Constitution says treason is punishable by death. You've accused your adversaries of treason. Who specifically are you accusing of treason?
Well, I think a number of people. If you look at Comey, if you look at McCabe, if you look at probably people higher than that, that means that if I win and somebody wants to run against me, I call my attorney general and I say, listen, indict him.
Remember back in 2016, everyone thought Trump would settle down and be normal and controllable. Instead, he foobarred both a healthy economy and a pandemic, a up that resulted in 500,000 more deaths due to his incompetence. Now, after 2020, and since he tried to overthrow the government in a violent coup, he's ready to get back on board and get the revenge his sick little mind has been envisioning for the last 4 years. And the frightening part is the number of cuckolds on board with this.
Congressman, do you consider Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi to be the enemy from within?
I know that Adam Schiff, when he was chairman of the Intelligence Committee, was leaking information to the press that was classified information.
Wait a second, that's a lie. Schiff never did that. That's Tiny Fingers talking.
So you would be okay with Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi being deemed the enemy from within? Would you go along with them being rounded up? Would you go along with them being arrested?
Remember what Adam Schiff did in 2016? He was laundering phony intelligence into our political system. He did that in 2016, 2017, 2018. That is very dangerous, in my view. It's very dangerous to use your position as the chairman of Intel to launder phony information into the body politic, saying that Donald Trump was a Russian plant.
Tonight, a blockbuster new account of Donald Trump's close relationship with Vladimir Putin, their alleged private phone calls after Trump left office, and news that Trump secretly sent the Russian president COVID equipment.
Okay, so Congressman, so I'm asking you, if Donald Trump orders people inside this country, citizens like Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi to be arrested, you're saying, I think I just heard you a few moments ago saying you would not go along with that. So why not denounce what the former president is saying when he calls them the enemy from within?
Jim, first of all,
shouldn't that be denounced?
Let's be very clear. Donald, Matt, are you going to let me answer your question? Here you go. Donald Trump's been president for 4 years already. When he was president of the United States, did he weaponize the Justice Department against his political rivals?
Lock her up is right.
I didn't say lock her up.
For what she's done, they should lock her up.
I didn't say lock her up.
Crooked, you should lock her up.
I didn't say lock her up.
Lock up Hillary.
Okay, so that guy is a stiff, a spineless acolyte of the cowardly MAGA cartel. But if Republicans keep saying this, it can and will lead to violence.
It's the enemy from within.
The guy that tried to kill Pelosi's husband, and the kid who showed up at the D.C. pizza parlor looking to kill Hillary because GOP talking points were spreading rumors that Democrats were pedophiles drinking children's blood.
To take this global cable of Satan-worshiping pedophiles out. And I think we have the president to do it.
This is dangerous territory, and it's getting more dangerous. In fact, the kid who tried to kill Trump was a mentally unstable MAGA, which I know is redundant, but he wanted to kill Trump, then die and spend eternity with his savior.
I am the chosen one. Somebody had to do it.
This is a true cult, and they're gathering their most insane to lead the way, kind of like January the 6th, but on steroids.
The federal oath of office now requires declaring loyalty to the president, not the Constitution. Protected by the Supreme Court's grant of total immunity for official acts, Donald Trump orders the Department of Justice to arrest members of the January 6th Commission.
And to show you how this is being manipulated, listen to Johnny Donuts here.
He's following a couple of interviews over the weekend and also throughout the past week. He keeps coming back. He's asked about these enemies within comments. And I've read all of it. I've listened to all of it. It's hard for me to know what he really means about it. But that's not my question. My question is, why is it necessary?
Well, Bill, first of all, Donald Trump is unfiltered.
I love it when they call Trump unfiltered. That's like saying your racist, farting uncle is a free spirit.
And sometimes that means he's going to talk about issues that the mainstream media isn't focused on.
We can't stand you. You're a shit vice president.
He mentioned Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi by name in this case over the weekend.
Yeah, Bill, well, look, I mean, you have Adam Schiff and Nancy Pelosi who have been really part of weaponizing the Department of Justice.
Vance is part of the 2025 team, and it's my opinion, but I think if Trump were to drop dead in the first 6 months of his presidency, Vance would get an Arnold Palmer all the way to the funeral. But when Trump talks about pardoning Jan 6ers, then arresting Biden, Pelosi, Schiff, and others, and then saying anyone who criticizes him is a criminal.
They play the ref. They start screaming about the judge is no good and this one's no good and they're slow and they're lousy judges and the judge should be impeached and all of this crap when you have a brilliant judge. I really believe it's illegal what they do, and I know there's some great lawyers in the room you ought to look at.
Well, that should be a huge warning sign.
I know a lot of Republicans want retribution. They want to do that. We're going to see what happens.
It's a terrible, terrible path that they're leading us to, and it's very possible that it's going to happen to them.
Revenge does take time, I will say that.
It does.
And sometimes revenge can be justified.
Let's have trial by combat.
We have the enemy outside, which would be the very standard countries, and we have the enemy from within.
I bet you feel this way. When I watch national news talk about this election and use phrases like the race for the White House, I want to spit. This ain't that. This is a sociopathic felon, a rapist, a traitorous, lying, failed businessman with 6 bankruptcies who had long financial dealings with Putin.
The Russia hoax.
And that Trump was in communication with Putin more than 7 times over the last 4 years. Why?
Vice President Kamala Harris responded today during an interview with Howard Stern.
Everybody was scrambling to get these kits, the tests, the COVID test kits.
Couldn't get them.
Couldn't get them.
Right.
Couldn't get them anywhere.
Right.
And this guy who is president of the United States is sending them to Russia, to a murderous dictator for his personal use?
Even after he left office, Trump stayed in touch with the Russian leader. According to Woodward, he cites an unidentified Trump aide who said the former president had as many as 7 private calls with Putin, even one early this year when Trump was urging Republicans to block additional aid to Ukraine.
That's not a Russian hoax. That's a spoon-fed little bitch getting hookers to pee on him while Johnny Donuts gets off with a sofa cushion.
That's a good one.
There's an enemy within, but it's not Democrats or immigrants or women or MSNBC. No, it's a sausage-brained little boy attacking young girls while painting himself orange and screaming at the world.
It's not fair.
And the media will be Trump's first target. Oh, but what about the First Amendment? Yeah, what about that? Andrew Jackson once said to the Supreme Court, rule whatever you want, but let's see you try and enforce it. Andrew Jackson was daring anyone to stop him. And for the record, Jackson is Trump's favorite president.
Trump comes out and he says, I'm going to arrest my political enemies. I'm going to use the military, law enforcement, to arrest people I disagree with. Then you have the inevitable Lindsey Graham, all right, or the Wall Street Journal editorial page, or the whole Republican Trump apologist, giant billionaire-funded infrastructure that says, oh, no, he doesn't really mean that. He's just speaking metaphorically. And then Trump comes back and says, no, I meant it. I said it and I meant it. And, of course, this is what he's doing. If he wins, he will correctly say, I told you what I was going to do. I was going to arrest Nancy Pelosi. I was going to arrest and try Hillary Clinton or whoever. Elizabeth Warren, I don't know. You pick it. Anybody. Me too included. And if he wins this election, he's going to say, I told you that I was going to do this, and I'll now have the authority of the election. So let's get out the handcuffs and the nightsticks and go pick up a pack of liberals and beat the living shit out of them because you have okayed this. And you know, they're going to have a point because the media is going to sit there and run stories about the horse race, or is we down 1 in Arizona, up a half a point, or is this going on? And we are letting an election go off where people have not been told just exactly what the difference is.
Should Trump win, there will be no history books depicting this time in our lives, as there are no history books detailing the massacre of 25 million Indians, at least not in Florida. And James Carville is right. Trump is saying it out loud. So all we have to do is listen, vote, then get ready. For what? That's up to us.
This is not a normal election.
Who's with me?
Damn right.
Yes! Tick-tock, mother...
I'm ready. Let's go.
This isn't their Republican Party anymore.
They're eating the dogs.
Trust me.
Shut the f*** up, Darren.
Who's with me?
Oh, yeah, the lie.
Indictable.
Out of sheer morbid curiosity, I'm allowing this freak show to continue.
I don't want to talk about this stuff.
Am I wrong? Yes! Tick-tock,
You're in a lot of trouble, Donnie.
I think he's crazy.
I'm Chip Franklin.